Hey, I just recorded this video and then my mom came in and just messed up the video, so I gotta restart this, which is proper jarring. But I think I'm gonna try to charge myself to get this video done in 5 minutes. I wanted to make this video. It's really important. I'm really all about documenting the journey and having like footage to look back at. So having footage to look back on to see the process and to see also how far I've come in certain areas, and also just appreciate like sort of the hard work and also God providing opportunities and opening doors for me. So this is all about documentation and also just sharing thoughts as well. So um, you may see the title of the video asking what is it that he's talking about. So this year I've grown or I've gotten older. I had my birthday not too long ago, and now I'm getting even more closer to the age of 30, and I really want my brand to represent this as well in its maturity and the way it looks. What I mean by that is that I want a brand that I could wear when I'm 30 years old, in my mid 30s, and perhaps even in my 40s, but also a brand that um, I would also enjoy if I was 20 years old, in my 20s as well. A brand that I think just has like timeless pieces, but then it's also fun and also represents the ideologies that I hold on to. And I think this is like really important for me personally. As I'm getting older, I want to make sure that I'm not only making sort of t-shirts and hoodies and stuff like that, but I'm actually making pieces. I'm making garments. Making things from scratch. Um, I am designing, and this is what I'm most passionate about. I love a cool t-shirt and a great design, but I'm really into sort of um, making pieces. I'm really into creating something from scratch and really sort of finding very interesting ways to sort of interesting takes on very classic sort of silhouettes. So this is like very important to me, um, to make these sort of pieces, make these garments, and this is what I want to challenge myself to do this year. Obviously, well, you may not know this, but when designing collections, they can become it is quite expensive, especially when you're making pieces from scratch. So, for example, let's say I make a jacket. Um, if you're making a jacket, then perhaps you need a minimum order of 100 pieces or 50 pieces and stuff, or 50 pieces, whatever. Already, if you don't have a clientele of 100 people, then it's already pointless. So then, you're having to find how to sort of go around these sort of loopholes, I guess. If I had like maybe like 10k, 15k, it would be fantastic because then I could just like make loads of mistakes and um, sort of just have like samples upon samples and stuff like that, and just I can make whatever I want and be be pretty happy. Could like complete the whole collection with that, and also buy stock. But unfortunately, we do not have that sort of cash flow yet. And also, there's a lot of responsibilities, especially as I'm getting older, and just a lot of new things to account for without getting too personal. So, yeah, it's a very interesting period of my life, and I'm just learning sort of how to manage all of this because I want to be able to develop this brand the way that I feel like it's the way I feel like it deserves to be developed. And then I also am sort of thinking about my own life personally and how I need to sort of take care of things personally in my own life. So it's a very interesting sort of balance and act, and my own responsibilities. But yeah, so I think this year, by God's grace, the focus is really on just sort of making garments, you know what I'm saying? And also, there's two areas I really want to focus on as well, which is simplifying things, especially in regards to branding. You know, I want people to be able to see maybe a T-shirt I made this year, and then see a T-shirt I made last year, and be able to see that to kind of feel that they are sort of closely aligned, whether it may be the artistic direction or the artistic style, or just simply just the logo being used, the same logo. So being more refined in like the sort of the references that I'm using, um, the the branding I'm using, the actual like text for logos and stuff like that. Just having more simplification, not sort of um, that doesn't mean having less sort of finesse or things not looking as beautiful. It just means simplifying things so that it's more sort of recognizable. And this is what I want to really focus on. One of the things I want to focus on, and another one is just more improving on the quality. Um, I want to make the garments better quality wise. I want to use. I want to sort of develop better T-shirts, better quality hoodies. That's one of the reasons why I haven't released a hoodie, because I wasn't happy with the quality of the hoodie. I didn't feel that excited about releasing like loads of hoodies because of the quality. I wanted to have my bespoke sort of fitting. I wanted it to fit a certain way. I wanted to look a certain way. But again, these are all costs, right? So it's just a lot of things to play around with. But not only quality of the garments I want to increase, but at the same time, just quality of like packaging as well. I want to have better quality packaging, having custom packaging as well. And I've already designed that, so next is just kind of getting that sort of sorted out. And that's not really a costly expense, but it's just something that will sort of bring the customer on the journey and help them to see that a lot of effort and time has gone into these things. So these are the two or three areas that I really want to focus on this year, and I will almost tailor my goals to these things because I think these are really important. In terms of when dropping collection, at this moment I don't actually know completely. Um, I will probably have it finished, designed within the next 2 months. Probably maybe before that. Depends on how things go. I think I'm almost 60% finished. I've basically designed all the garments, but I think more than anything, it's just a funding thing. Again, when you're wanting to make actual garments and not just like t-shirts and stuff like that, it requires a bit more sort of um, it requires more budget. So I need to sort of think about how I'm gonna approach that, and just praying for wisdom and also guidance of how to approach that as well. Because yeah, it's just I don't want to have to. Yeah, I want to. I want to really the ideas I have. I really want to get them out in the most authentic way possible. You know, this is like really important to me. Um, Last thing, I went to the store. I went to the name of the store, and I went. They were in central London, so maybe I shouldn't have said that. But it's in London, central London. Well, there's loads of stores in central London. I went inside and I touched the clothes, I touched the garments, and I realized that the I learned two lessons from being in that store. I realized that the, 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 the degree of difficulty is not actually that hard in terms of developing a clothing brand. It's not that hard. Um, and what I mean by that is when I went to the clothing store, I understood I understood the references he used. Like some of them are similar to the references I've also learned to appreciate and appreciate through research and stuff like that. So I understood the references. So I could what I'm saying is I could replicate. I could make the same brand. And the sort of cuts of the clothing, the garments, is sort of it's not that difficult. It's the stuff that I it's the way I like my clothes anyway, and the quality is it's just good quality. Like it's a thicker quality, a heavier weight material in the t-shirts and the hoodies and stuff like that. Very simple stuff, basic silhouettes. References are not that sort of deep. Not that they're not like very high level or very thoughtful. But this brand is doing it exceptionally well. So it really challenged me to keep things more simple and not just keep things simple, but just keep it simple. You know, keep it simple. Focus on good quality and sort of focus on just and I guess have your niche, but like just be sort of open to people, if that makes sense. Don't be too closed off in your niche. And yeah, that was for me very like important to see. I had to going there and realizing that this person is whoever this brand, whoever the people that own the brand, whatever, they're so successful. Or they've become very successful, but the sort of the degree of difficulty in what they've made really that isn't really that difficult, you know. Um, it's really changed my perspective and how I want to approach Awale. Just keep it more simple, refining things a lot more, having more obvious branding, making sure the logo is more apparent in certain designs, making things a lot more concise, even with color palettes, the colors that I use, making it a lot more concise. Um, yeah, just that was my challenge, you know. Um, so I'm hoping that this collection, final thoughts. I'm hoping that this collection will be one where people will see sort of the growth and advancements. Personally, I think I've done a good job, and I think I can continue. I think I can continue like designing and doing adding more to the collection. But again, I just want to keep it simple and also allow people to see sort of a a more sort of I guess a more sort of like not refined, but just a better, yeah, a more refined version of these thoughts that I've had, and a more sort of approachable brand as well. More approachable. Yeah, that's important. Um, I think that was it. There was one other thing that I wanted to mention. Um, yeah, life is crazy, man. It's so busy. Like it's a lot happening. It's just a lot happening, man. It's like see, it's gonna be busy as well. So just learning sort of what I can do and what I can't do, you know. But I'm super like hungry to sort of conquer, you know, that feeling, you know, when you wait, like you just sometimes I'm like I feel like I'm burning like inside, um, I mean it figuratively, but it's like this passion. It's like a burning to like get the ideas out to show it, to produce it, and stuff like that. So you know, it's super satisfying. You know, I even designed a dress. You know, I designed a bag, um, a leather bag. I designed trousers. I designed a tracksuit that I would actually wear if I was 30 years old. So like, it's actually a cool piece. I designed a cardigan. I've designed like bare stuff. Like, I designed a shirt. I haven't worn a shirt in ages, but I guess it was an ode to my old self. But I guess what I'm trying to say is like really trying to embark in making them garments. Now I'm saying No, I'm joking. But yeah, in making them garments and um, producing something that I'm really proud of. Um, this is really important to me. The people who inspire me, when I see like clothes from like Martine Rose, that's for me that's inspiring because it's like a collection, right? It's like you got the jackets, you got hoodies, you got tees, you got jeans, you got shoes, that I like that, I want to do that as well, and I got sick ideas as well, I've designed some really cool stuff, but that's what I'm trying to aim for, um, and that does mean it'll be at a higher price point, but I believe people will sort of understand why it has to be more expensive. That's it. I think that's it. Only last thing, I learned something really cool recently. The difference between a baseball cap and a dad cap. I don't know, but that was it was good information to find out. So next steps is finishing the collection, finishing finishing t-shirt design. I left the t-shirt designs to last, so I finished t-shirt design, working with some illustrators and sort of putting some stuff together from my end as well. And then um, it would then be sort of in the meantime, whilst that is happening, it's also just sort of working out a cost and also finding some manufacturers to work with and sort of just getting like a ballpark sort of figure how much is how much is it gonna cost, because perhaps maybe it won't be dropping all the pieces at once, but dropping pieces at a time, and I think that's completely fine. For me, it's just as long as I can drop the pieces, that's what's important, Um, but just doing it in a wise way. Yeah. Last thing is like it's crazy because the when you're so like when you're so like focused on the next thing, it's like I'm not even really that focused. I'm not even really not focused, but that interested in sort of bringing out some of the old pieces because it's like you sort of seen maybe where you feel like you could have done certain things at a higher level, not necessarily the design, but it was based on like some things I've mentioned before. And you're like, oh man, so it's like you don't want to go back in the past, but yeah, that's it. So yeah, man, everything is in God's hands. Just hard work and, and sacrifice really, and hard work, sacrifice, and obedience, and just just working hard. When there's a will, there's a way. So there is a will, so the way will open by God's grace. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to people seeing the quality, like just seeing the difference, between the It's Your World collection and this collection that's going to be coming up soon. This collection is called Freedom, so it should be good. Well, it will be good. It will be good. So yeah, that's it. I'm off to bed now. Back to the 9 to 5. Wonderful. But that's it. Peace and